everybody, welcome back to Easy Plant-Based Recipes. This is Patricia here with you. Welcome to my channel if you haven't been here. We still have 10 subscribers, but we hope to get a lot more. And right now, I have a couple announcements for you, but I just want to tell you what we're making today. You may have seen it in the title. You may have even seen the recipe. This is called the Make It Your Own Vegan Butternut Squash Soup. And below is your recipe, and you will get that. It's nice. I really like it because you can add in to this one. This one has the ingredients, basic ingredients that we put in, and then you add in. So again, it's kind of a DIY, which is kind of, I think, what we're featuring here at Easy Plant-Based Recipes. Also, what else I find in this particular channel is that one is related to another, and I'll go through this with you. I'm also going to announce what we're making next. As you know, I just tell you a little background. Last month, my grandson was here, and so I was supposed to do this squash soup last month. And he was here and we were very busy. And so now it's December. And so here we are again. And I want to tell you that I'm glad to be back. And so what's coming up is since this one has vegetable broth in it, I'm going to be featuring very soon. I'm going to the farm actually on Tuesday and getting my produce. The DIY vegetable broth. So that's coming up this month. And I owe you two because it's supposed to be 2 a month. And I missed last month. So that's coming up very soon, actually. And this recipe calls for that. You can also do a store-bought vegetable broth. Or you can use, what I'm going to use today is the bouillon with water. But we don't want to add salt. So we'll go through that in a moment. Also featuring is going to be a bowl, and we're going to make it with quinoa and a bunch of different ingredients in there, and some of which also applies to what we've been doing. We're going to use the roasted chickpeas in it. That's going to be in with the produce. We're making like a bowl with produce, quinoa, roasted chickpeas. And you can also add the hummus with DIY if you'd like, that we made last time with my grandson here. And also it does involve salad dressing. So we're going to use the Make Your Own Salad Dressing. I have to read it because I'm getting a little old here. I can't remember all the names, but that was also one of our items that we had made. And so you can go back to that in my channel and review, or if you are making it, wonderful. So we're going to do that very, very soon, too. I already have the stuff here, so it may be sooner than later. Okay, and then I talked about other things, such as the quick wheat bread, which we are going to get to. There was another thing I mentioned. Oh, yeah. So for now, let's just talk about for now, for this month. Okay, so those are the 3 coming up. What I want to, oh, yeah, the nuts, because we're also going to use pumpkin seeds, otherwise known as pepitas. And we are going to use these today on top of the soup as an option, as well as hot pepper flakes or any hot sauce that you might want to add onto the soup. But we are going to make some roasted nuts, and that's coming up, and seeds, and that'll be coming up in January. Okay, so that's another thing coming up. And I think the bread, because I've been saying bread, and we haven't done it yet. So it's very quick, it's easy, it's delicious. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to make a whole wheat bread. Okay, and vegan, and this is all vegan. Often, now and then, I will mention, oh, you can put an egg in, or you can put some cheese in. I'm not vegan myself, but it's an option. Another announcement, I have started my Scully aprons. This is the blue-eyed. We also have the brown-eyed. The link is on my site in the right-hand corner up at the top. If you go back into Easy Plant-Based Recipes and look in the segment there with my big picture on top on the right-hand corner. And I'll also put it actually in the comment section if you want to get this. It's becoming very popular. I haven't sold one yet. I started putting them up on Etsy a month ago. I used to sell them. but I'm getting every day just about more and more watchers. So people are really interested in my Gothic apron here. I do have Gothic jewelry coming up too, but this right now is the apron that's really popular. And so, yes, if you're interested. Now, without any further ado, we're going to start. I already have my pan on. You can use any kind of a pan. I'm using a cast iron. I really enjoy the cast iron. That's heating up. You can use a non-stick pan. That also works very well. You know, your choice. But make sure, now I washed my hands. Let me wash them again. We want to be safe. So we normally wash our hands in warm soapy water for at least 20 seconds. Wrists, fingers, all around, nails. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, if you look at your recipe, is get 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. Now, once again, you can add in at the end. So I'm using my coconut oil. Last time I showed you guys this coconut oil, it was all liquid form because it was warm out. We had like 90 degrees here in New England, and it's cold right now, so it's solid, if you can see that. So I've got about a tablespoon there. I'm going to put it into my pan to heat up, and then it calls for bang my garlic, right? It makes it so much faster. So then I just chop the garlic. Hopefully you can see there's a little thing there with the timing on this. This may be a little longer than our normal 15 up to 15 minute recipes. This one's a little more involved. Normally our videos here don't go beyond 15 minutes. So I'm chopping, mincing, okay? So that's that, okay? And then it calls for a shallot. And so I'm just cutting it off here at the ends, cutting down the middle, watching my fingers. And this is getting our stuff. This is just basically something simple, and I did want to add it in rather than chop before, so that you can see in case, you know, you need some techniques. You may already know how to chop this stuff. Okay, so, you know, taking off all that, and I'm just cutting in the middle here, just like an onion, and then I chop very small. So I don't have to keep re-chopping because the garlic went quick. It's smaller. I chopped it down, banged it down, and then chopped it. And then what you can do is just, I'm holding it like this. See how I'm holding my knife? Thumb and finger there in front to be safe. And then I'm just putting my palm of my hand down and going like this. This is a very safe way to chop and mince garlic. And you can use it for herbs. And of course, you get scallions. Very easy. Another way that you can do it is coming around. I hope you guys can see this. It's hard to get my face and everything in, but it's coming around at an angle, and then you mix it around to get it more angles, and you just come down. And I'm coming down like this, holding it like this, not the knife. There are other ways to do it, but this seems to be the safest way. So now that it's fairly minced, I'm just going to put it right in the pan. This is that is already heating up. And then we're going to talk about our butternut squash. Okay, let me give it a stir. I had to lower a little bit. Now, I'm going to explain to you what I do. What I like to do is just put the whole thing in the oven. I put it in a pan with parchment paper and just put it in the oven at 350. It takes maybe a little over an hour, and then I'll like take a fork, I will stab it and see if it's done. and then I will just shut the oven and leave it, unless there's some brown spots. You don't want the brown spots. It can, you know, take out some of the flavor. This is so much easier than having to use one of these and then do this to it at the beginning. And then to chop that, it's like really hard. So this is so much easier. I think it also, rather than boiling the pieces of butternut squash, I think it also gives you more vitamins because it's all in there at the end. So what I normally do is I'll just take off the bottom where the seeds are. I'll remove the seeds. You can use a spoon, or my hands are clean, but I'll just use a spoon to show what I'm doing, removing the seeds from that part. And I should have a little bowl here to put the scraps in. And so at this point, I just kind of peel it off. You know, you can use a knife, take off the end. I think if anything, what it does is if you don't get the skin off or the outside off perfectly, you might lose a little bit of it. And like I say, if there's a brown spot, you might use a little. This is coming off beautifully though. And that's the only downside to roasting it. But other than that, it's so much easier and to me safer to do it this way. Look at that. It's already done. Look at that. And then for this part, I would just take the seeds out for our purposes today, or with my hands, you know, and then I could just rinse my hands off. For our purposes today, I'm just going to use the top. Normally I would. I'm not going to throw this away. I'll add this in afterwards. Again, with this recipe, you can add into it later. This is just a basic for kind of a medium, small, even to medium butternut squash. In the fall, in the summer and late summer and fall, you will get bigger butternut squashes. So you will definitely have to add more in than what I've put on the recipe there. Okay, so our squash is just about ready. Let me rinse my hands and I'm going to give that a stir. It's really hot. So I'm going to grab something so I can show you what it looks like. And this is what it looks like. It's just stirring up. You'll start to smell it. If you see anything browning, you've gone too far. So you want to keep your eye on it and keep stirring. Browning it too much will kind of take out some of the flavor. Just like what we did here, we took out some of the brown parts to the squash when we roasted it. It will influence the flavor in a not so good way. Our squash is ready. I've got all the skin, or outside off as it were, the peel. And we'll just leave that one there. I'll put it in later because I want to get to this. It's plant-based, it's easy, and it's fast. Had to turn it up a little bit. Okay, and while we're doing that, I'm going to talk about the rest of the ingredients, okay? The next thing is, after the squash, we're going to use cracked pepper and a dash of salt. Now again, it calls for the vegetable broth. And this month, I am going to feature a vegetable broth for you to learn how to do vegetable broth. You may already know how to do vegetable broth. You may still learn something, though, from this class. So please put it on. I do a lot of research for these classes so that I get you a wide variety of what you can use in your recipes. And a lot of them, like I say, are related. We look at the apple crisp, how I made the apple crisp, and I used the blue ribbon granola on top. And like I say, this next one with the bowl, we're going to use a lot from what we've learned as well in these classes. So just hoping, please, please, please put in a comment. Tell me how you like this class. If you are talking to friends who may be interested in plant-based recipes, please, please, please send them over. Okay, it's time now where we need to get more people in. So that's, I'm promoting it a little bit here. So hopefully we will. You know, it's still soon. I'm enjoying it anyway. So, all right. So what I'm doing here, I don't have the store-bought vegetable broth at this point, nor do I have the DIY at this point. I haven't gone to the farm. So I'm just going to use this. And it calls for a cup to start. Again, you can add more at the end. I'm not going to keep saying it, but you can add more at the end. Now you can use your water from the sink. If I don't have extra water, I will, but I'm using the spring water right now with it. And what I want is approximately, oh, I'd say maybe a teaspoon and a half of this Better Than Bouillon. Okay. The thing with bouillon is it does have salt, no matter what kind it is. So what I'm doing with it, I'm mixing it up. All right. And there's our other option if you don't have the stock, which I wish I did. It comes out a little strong. It comes out a little more salty, but I made it yesterday and it's delicious. I wanted to try it, make sure that this was going to work. Okay, which it did. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to stir that up and we're going to go to the next step. It's coming. So the next step, we sauteed for 2 minutes, stirring frequently. It was a little low, that's why it took a little longer. Now, add the butternut squash. I'm just going to put it right over there. Okay? And it says also at this point, we want to season with salt, which we don't in this case. If you are using the unsalted or the do-it-your-own vegetable broth, you may put a little bit of salt in there. I said put a dash, okay? Pepper, a dash of pepper. For me, I love pepper, so I'm mixing it up. And at first, it will be very thick. You'll say, wait, this isn't mixing. Give it a moment. Put it a little lower, and you'll see how it starts to mix. All right, the next thing it calls for is our curry. This is a curry based, okay? You know, you can use another ingredient besides curry. You don't have to use the curry if you don't like it, okay? You don't have to use these spices. It'll still come out delicious. But these spices are really good. Wait a minute, what am I taking that spoon out? I've got some clean ones here. So it says 1.5 teaspoons. All right, I got a half teaspoon here. So I'm gonna do 3 of them. Okay. Now again, you can adjust this. You can start with just a half a teaspoon if you're like, oh, I've never cooked with curry, you know, and a lot of us haven't, especially, you know, if you've been born in the United States like I have. We haven't used much of this stuff growing up, unless you know you're Indian descent or another descent that uses that, okay? So it's all new to me as well, even at this stage where I've been cooking a while, okay? So here we are with a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So I'm going to open it up. That's in there. Again, you can adjust that at the end and feel free to add more. This is a very low amount that we're putting in now, and you can add more to the end. But it's just the curry. If you're not used to using it, you know, you might not want to go with a little less and then add in and say, you know, tastes good. So that's how this recipe works. We add in at the end. All right, let me mix it. Here are my pot holders are in the wash. So here's what it looks like initially, and you'll say, that's not mixing. That's not mixing. You can see where you can still see all the minced garlic and stuff. Now watch what happens. That aroma, it's really interesting. It's got that nice curry. So we want to cook this a little bit. It says 4 minutes, I believe. Yep. And then we will add our coconut milk. So not only are we using something that we may not use very much of, and that is the curry powder with cinnamon, we're using another ingredient that many of us haven't been brought up with, and that is the coconut milk. You may say to yourself, oh, I've used that all my life. Awesome. To me, it's all new. I haven't used these products much at all. And it's so great to cook vegan. This coconut oil, I did buy a big one. I mean, it is saturated fat, so you don't want to, use a ton of it. But I mean, it doesn't call for a lot. And it does have health products. It has healthy properties in it. So it's not the worst saturated fat. I mean, we do need a little fat in our diet anyway. So it's perfect amount, 1 tablespoon for a whole soup, All right, so let me stir that again. I'll be right with you. I'm going to show you what's happening. I would be talking over there, but the the volume doesn't go that far. I found out the hard way. So you can see how now it is mixing. It does mix. You just have to have a little patience. At first it's like, oh no, this is going to burn. That's why maybe a nonstick pan or a nice seasoned, which I finally got this seasoned. This is all new to me too. I finally got this cast iron seasoned. It took a while, but it's beautiful now. You have to use a lot of oil to get it seasoned, but all right, it's ready for the next step. So the next step is to go and to put in, I have a half a can of the coconut milk, and I also have here the vegetable broth that I made with the bouillon. So no more salt here. And the maple syrup. Now you can use any sweetener. You can use a coconut sugar. You can use regular sugar. You can use agave nectar. You can use whatever sugar you want. I'm using maple syrup. And it calls for tablespoon. 1 tablespoon. Okay. That's in. I'm going to stir it up. Hang in there. Okay, so at this point, it says, at this point, you can use an immersion blender. Wait a minute, bring to a low boil. Okay, that's what it is. It's bring to a low boil now. All right, over medium heat. So I'm bringing it to a low boil, and then I'm going to reduce to low, cover, and simmer for 15 minutes. Last time I made it, I didn't cover it. I just kept coming back and stirring it, and I didn't even use the immersion blender or a blender to puree it. You can do that if you want it pureed. I think that will help it. I'll show you actually what I did with mine. I skipped that part. And it's actually really thick, so you probably want to. I should have added, the next time, see how mine is very thick? I should have done the blender thing. And the other thing is, with this one, I think it may have needed a little bit more water. Okay, and so maybe even some more. And you'll have the whole can there. Okay, I already used half, but you'll have your whole can of your coconut milk that you can just add in within the blender. Okay, and you don't need the immersion blender, which goes in there. I can't really use it with that pan anyway, I don't think. But I have here a Vitamix blender. That one works. You can probably use it in your food processor, which I'll probably do today. So that's what you'll do, okay? And I highly recommend it because you see what happened to mine. And at that point, you can add in some more coconut milk. You could even add the whole can, okay? Taste it each time. Taste it, okay, it needs a little bit more coconut milk. It needs a little more water, or if you're using the bouillon, water. Otherwise, the vegetable broth. Okay, so I'm going to let you go right now. I want to also tell you that this is one thing that you can put on top afterwards, and this is the crushed red pepper. Okay, you can add a little bit on top if you like things spicy. You can add the pumpkin seeds. Like I say, we're going to do some roasted pumpkin seeds. We're going to do some roasted nuts in January. But you don't need it roasted because all the flavor is going to get in the soup anyway, and this is a flavorful soup. So you don't need them to be roasted. You can if you want, but just plain. And it actually gives it a little texture to the soup. I enjoyed it definitely in the soup. And I'm usually a hot person, but since that does have so many nice spices in it, I only used a little and I was happy with it. I wouldn't use too much. You can also use like a hot pepper sauce, a garlic hot pepper sauce to put on top. Okay, and then again, you can add in more of this, the sweetener. You can add more of your curry. You can add more of this is the kind of thing, and I like to do it like this, so you can make it your own. That's the name of it. Make it your own vegan butternut squash soup. So you decide how you want to make yours, okay? I'm going to add in more squash at the end. I am going to let you go because I think I've done all we can. We're not going to wait 15 minutes till it's done. But I will tell you in the comments how it came out. I'm just trying to think how else I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it this way in the blender, in the, food processor. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to let you know how it came out as opposed to yesterday where it was, well, it wasn't quite this thick yesterday when I had it, but it's turned out really thick. And it should have been blended. Okay, so live and learn. I mean, we're all, trying these things out. And in a little while, I will be coming back to bring in the DIY vegetable broth. Okay, and then you can try this with the vegetable broth. I will try it with the vegetable broth. I'll let you know how it is as comparison to what I did here with the bouillon. Okay, I'm going to let you go. Thanks again for coming, and I will be back soon with more recipes. Again, if you want to check out my stuff, I have also the jewelry coming too. I love this apron. It's been, a great seller for me, and I'm going to continue selling it now. And so continue this class too. So have a great holiday, and hopefully I'll see you before then. I am going to get to this stuff soon. Thank you for coming back. Tell your friends. This was the longest one we had. It's almost 30 minutes, but it's a good one. Okay, and there will be some coming up that may be 30, even a little past that, because I'm going to be in next year advancing us on to a little bit more advanced recipes, but they're still going to be easy and they're still going to be plant-based. Bye.